Welcome, assalamu alaikum. Good morning from London, and welcome to the Muslim Women in Sport Network's second day of the virtual summit. Today, we have some fantastic panels, including this one that we're going to go through in just a second. We're going to be talking about sport for development later on today, but for now, we're going to be discussing innovation in modest sportswear, so-called modest sportswear design, how Muslim women have been overcoming the barriers that have been set by sports institutions, how businesswomen and athletes have been leading in the design, and obviously the benefits of sportswear change in this new wave of designs in so-called modest sportswear. We are joined in this session by two wonderful women from the UK and from Australia. We have the founder inventor of the Burqini and one of the first ever sports hijabs, Aheda Zanetti, and we also have the first ever Muslim woman to play will represent England. She represented England in international rounders, Dana Abdulkarim. Welcome to you both. And they'll both be sharing their stories and some of their strategies and how their businesses and their innovation has paved the way for women across the world. Now, in terms of the modest sportswear landscape, it's really an emerging one because more and more Muslim women have been actively participating in sporting activities, and therefore the demand for this type of sportswear and swimming attire is really growing. And we've seen, I'd say, some of the major players and the established players in the market haven't really adapted to that until very recently. So these product segments, these markets have largely been overlooked. So let's start off by talking to Aheda about her journey, her inspiration. Aheda, if you'd share with us, please, kind of like I say, your inspiration behind the Burqini, what made you start to look into this space around modest sportswear design?
Oh, okay. Well, growing up in Australia, we missed out on a lot of activities and sporting attire and something that was quite suitable for our modesty. So when I grew up and got married and had children, and there was a day that my sister invited me to a netball match that her daughter was actually participating in. And I was watching that netball, play, and I looked at her and I thought, wow, like she was wearing a skivvy with a pair of tracksuit pants and of course the netball uniform, which is like this small, of course. On top of that, with a top, a two-piece veil, and she was so white that when she was running around the field and the netball courts, her face was like red, like a tomato. So I went back home and I remember that day so clearly. I'm thinking, wow, like where are he now? I'm 35 years old at the time, and I've got two girls. I hope that I'm not going to, for them to miss out on any kind of sporting activities during school, which I had. So that's what inspired me to first of all look around to see if there was anything available overseas. At the time, it was dial-up internet, so you can imagine how long that took. And looking to see if there was anything that I can bring back to Australia. So, of course, I could not find anything. But in the same time, I read some articles and discussions amongst forums about how women, are struggling, that there are some people and women out there that are wanting to participate in sporting activities, and they're not. And there was a bit of a cry, or why, the big comers, the big brands are not actually talking or doing much about it. So the design came back to me because I'm a very active person. I wasn't wearing hijab at the time, but I thought I've always wanted to. I've always thought that wearing hijab was going to restrict me from being so active. We were playing, we're amongst soccer and netball and, living a really quite active lifestyle. So I based the design around me. I had my youngest girl was at the time, she was just born. So she was probably about a month 2 months old at the time. I waited until her last breastfeed, and just brought my sewing machine out, and I go, what would I wear? I needed to have something totally practical and easy to wear, something that I could take off and take on without the added pins and clips and so forth. No excess fabrics. I started looking into the technical side of the fabrics itself, the breathability, the anti-wickering, all the actual the technical side, to find not only did I want something to wear that was practical, but also that was going to be comfortable. And I think that was the main aspect. The main aspect of my designs, that it was supposed to be comfortable, something comfortable and flexible with a lot of movement, that it was not only going to encourage girls to actually go and play sport, start or, continue, but also, wanted her to feel comfortable so she can stay and continue to play sport. So the design was based around something that I would wear, and we called it the hijab. Hijab was a hood shape, like a hijab shaped like a hood. I wanted to bring out the Western look about it, that we were living amongst in Australia, and this is my country. I've been here all my life. I wanted whoever was going to wear it, which is including me, that was not going to be judged upon my race or religion and who I was following and, fulfilling. I wanted it to be that it was going to be a garment or a type of hijab to wear that anyone could wear it, but it was aimed for a Muslim girl. I wanted them to wear it during sporting activities and school sports, that they could take off and take on without any issues in any way. I didn't want anyone to change their team sport uniform on behalf of us Muslims. I didn't want any restrictions in any way, that it was just a part of the uniform, not to replace a uniform. So all of these aspects had to be thought about while I was designing this garment. It could be worn with no sleeves or with sleeves. So it's in a garment that it was initially started as a crop top that could be worn, underneath a team uniform, at all, that needed sleeves or with no sleeves. But the main aspect was the hijab part, that you could just wear it as a hood, or you can put it across to your head, sit it closely, and you can do a cartwheel without having the restriction of, oh, will it fall off? Is my hair coming off? Or whatever the case was. So the aspects of the whole design had to be based around all of that. Design, flexibility, comfort, breathability, had to have all those added ingredients to it to make it to be a very high performance top. It had to be adaptable to whatever uniform. It had to be acceptable by whatever team. It had to be something amongst the Western culture. So this was brought out, and we called it the hijab sports top. I wanted to make sure that not only that it was going to be acceptable by anyone playing it, or in the teams that they were playing amongst, it was also going to be accepted by our Muslim community. So the first thing I did was take it to our local, our sheikh, to see if that is going to be a suitable garment for girls and women to wear while playing sport. And that he said to me and gave me a certificate stating that if this was going to encourage girls and women to be active and play sport, and this is something that they encourage dramatically. So through that design, I went back to my local netball team. Hello, I'm here. I found something for you. And redesigned all the girls that actually, well, not redesigned, but actually dressed them up in the garment that I produced and created, for them to play comfortably, and encouraged it amongst all these other netball teams. May I add that I've always wanted to play. I mention netball a lot because I've always wanted to play netball as a young girl and never had a chance to do so, because of whatever the restrictions they had with those teeny weeny little skirts and the teeny little tops. So at the age of 40, I finally got myself into a netball team and played my first game of netball. And it's funny that I did that because there was a day that I was playing netball amongst the other side, and the other side was either a type of Catholic school representative. And I remember, trying to defend, and she said, "Where did you get that from?" And I said, "I make them." And she said, "Oh, what a great idea." Because my hair is so wispy and fluffy that every time I put a hairpin in, it will fall off, and the hair is always in my eyes. So I thought, wow, that will be a great opportunity to market it as it is a garment that is very Western looking. So I produced it and marketed it as a garment for all. And I just want to show you, I know it's a little bit exposed on the Muslim side, but I do also believe sex sells. So this is I exposed it to a way where it was going to be attractive to the non-Muslims. I hate saying that, but people that are not Muslim based. And for a Muslim, she would need to use her common sense, a little bit of common sense, that it is an undergarment that to be worn with another team sport uniform. So this is how it started. Through that, I could see within Australia there was hardly any women and girls playing sport or wanted to. And the change of actually taking that stereo image of a veil and putting it into a hijab was very difficult to come across with the girls that are wearing hijab. So through that design, I thought it would have been much more easier to push this new lifestyle of sports and active and health and fitness through a swimsuit. Now, there's swimsuit as well. Once again, I love swimming, and of course, it was something that I was going to adapt straight away from sports to swim. So we called it, first of all, of course, it's a hijab, a swimming suit. No one could understand what that meant, like it's a hijab swimming suit, it's a hood that shape, hijab shaped like a hood. Then I called it the Muslim bikini. And oh my God, astaghfirullah, what they thought of me when I said, what? The Muslim bikini? So then one day I saw, I was reading an article about, women entering into the waters with their burqa. And I go, what's a burqa? So I looked up the dictionary, and now this is the sentence I'm going to explain. I looked up the dictionary and tried to understand what a burqa meant. As you could imagine, I'm an Aussie who didn't understand what a burqa meant. And it said it's a type of a cover type of clothing that many Middle Eastern women wear. And I thought, oh, okay, well. And then I looked up what a bikini actually meant, and it says a small two-piece swimsuit. I go, well, it's smaller than a burqa, and it's a two-piece, because it is. That's a top and a pants, so it's a two-piece. So I called it the Burqini, where it was going to be easier for me to explain that, because I had this Burqini in my bag, because it's a new concept, it's a new market that I'm tapping into, it's a new lifestyle, it's a new, it was completely, what the hell, sister, what are you doing? Stick to your date, what are you doing, encouraging, this is haram. And I said, no, it's not haram. I tried to do the show, it's not haram. We are encouraged to learn and be fit and learn how to swim and look after our bodies. We are encouraged to lead the way to our children to have a healthy lifestyle. We are encouraged to think positively, and you know, for leadership around us. We are encouraged to show, you know, the goodness of us to those people that think that we're all terrorists. Like, you know, I'm forever trying to be a better person in front of everyone else. And how can I be a better person without a healthy and active lifestyle with great positive leadership? So I